culture. We now, it is said that India is home to the third largest startup ecosystem. If we go by number of startups and unicorns, the country is just behind two global superpowers, US and China. And I think the way we are moving it, we are moving at, it should be soon that we should be becoming number one in the world. Similarly, in terms of unicorns, so it is at more than 100 unicorns are there. And I was told like in UP also, there are out of these more than 100, there are 8 to 9 unicorns who are basically somehow related to UP or UP based unicorns. So UP government is trying to also do its bit. Our visionary Chief Minister has put a lot of emphasis on innovation culture and startup. And I think most of you know that we came out with this startup policy in year 2020. But before I speak 2-3 points about that, because most of you as incubators and startup, I am sure that you will be knowing about that policy. I will take 2-3 minutes. So one, because today we expect that a lot of startups are also joining us to understand the nitty-gritties of how to get finance when they reach the maturity stage. I wanted to take this opportunity myself to speak to startups, because I think this is first time that startups will also be joining. So friends, you know more than me that idea is the most important point, and it is said that journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. And if your idea is very strong, very unique, I think this step remains not the first single step, but it becomes like equivalent to 100 steps. I wanted to say that most of the innovations, they come at the intersection of the two sectors. So if you have specialization in some sector, say it may be agri-tech, it may be medical education. So I myself an electronics engineer. So you look at the intersection of electronics engineer virtually with every sector. All the sensors, IoT, X-ray machines, or CT scans, all these, they are basically electronics engineer combined with the health sector. Look at agriculture sector, look at drones, look at any sector. So my request is just think in terms of these two things. And I am always very fond of talking about Shirshashan, paradigm reversal. That whenever you are talking about, I always say that I am writing a book on Shirshashan in governance. So sometimes I say paradigm reversal as the biggest innovation rather than paradigm shift. Everyone talks about paradigm shift, but look at upside down. And sometimes you find a solution, not only a solution, an innovative solution. Second thought which I wanted to leave with all the startups is basically learn from India's experience. Till now, the tendency was basically to find best practices, what the West has been doing, what the other countries have been doing, and trying to replicate. When we talk about startup, we talk about novelty, we talk about innovation, something new. And India has done wonderful. So we have shifted gears. Now we are in a stage where we try to become world leaders. So I have been very fortunate to work in as DDG of UIDI. So Aadhaar, Aadhaar, eKYC, UPI, all these technologies, India stack, and then people are talking about further about different stacks based on these basic layers. So where we have been world leader, we have been, in fact, when I was DDG UID, every country wanted to emulate. They wanted our technology. That time we had decided not to share it, but now I think we are sharing it. So when you are thinking of some new concept, think like a leader. Not necessarily what has been tried at other places, but something totally new. Also, I wanted to tell that government also offers a lot of opportunities in this innovation space. So one is, information asymmetry is there. Government has so many schemes. You talk about anything, grants, schemes, livelihood schemes, skill schemes, loan schemes, everyone needs a funding. So, but there is a lot of, disconnect there. So there is possibility of creating startups to take these government schemes, government benefits, tell people about these as a last mile solution, maybe working out on success fee based models also. So that will be very important. Second one is, I always say ease of doing business, ease of living. So we in IT department, we have about 280 services for ease of living. Any person needs any type of certification or any suvidha, so there are online systems, but we are trying to convert these online systems into real-time, instant systems. Then next, we are trying to convert these systems into self-service, With these emerging technologies like AI, machine learning, etc., probably there is no need of a person sitting at the back end. Today, when we say online, a person is applying online, but most of the processing at the back end takes place in offline mode. You download all the application, process it on physical file, then upload the clearances. So online to converting it into real time, converting into self-service, where actually it is possible to design system. So government offers lot of opportunities for new ideas. And I always, leave this thought also with all of you that job when people talk about ease of doing business, ease of living business, ease of living, I always talk about joy of living. So joy of living, happiness, bringing happiness to others, solving their problems is one area where there is no limit. Sky is the limit there. So you can create so many things to make people happy. So keep that also in mind. In terms of Uttar Pradesh, I hope you know most of it. Our policy has, tried to create. It is on 3, 4 pillars. First pillar is basically working on industry, academia, government, society, partnerships, academic interventions, where like we have tried to introduce courses, innovations. Last time we talked about it, and I have requested my team that basically we should list out we on our website also all the courses which are taking place in innovation, because most of our incubator centers, they are located in host institutes which are university or colleges. So all the courses on innovations and entrepreneurship should be listed on our website, and we should somehow try to convert it to open courseware also. Open course without any qualification. The second one is creating the systems of center of excellence, entrepreneurship colleges, tinkering labs, and we have this particular visionary statement in our policy to catch them young, so that train the students at the school level also and college level also. Create some sort of awareness generation at school and college level also. Then we are trying to create center of excellences, incubators are anchors, hub and spoke model, and then basically various activities like startup expresses, startup melas, hackathon, junior ideathon, startup exchange programs, incubation programs, and programs like this. So in terms of fiscal incentive, which is the second pillar, there also Government of India has done lot many things. There was exemption on income tax. But the part which we are talking today in this fiscal incentive, state government also created there is a fund of funds. Government of India also has done it. Government of Uttar Pradesh, with the help of CDB, we have created a 1,000 crore UP Startup Funds, where we bring in the experts, AIF, with the help of CDB, and today we will be listening to one of these AIFs. Monica is there. Incentives for incubators are there. We give about 1 crore of grant uh, for this infrastructure for technology support, and also some operational grants. There are some grants for startups also. And the third pillar again, very important, where we need discussions, because first two is most of like slide driven for you, but the third one is actually two-way communication. Although first two also will be two-way communication, but the third one is, in terms of what simplification is required, what are the non-fiscal incentives in terms of like easier compliance, online platform we have created, preference in government procurements, also self-certification. So we are working with the labor ministry also. I am working with other departments. I have been telling them that please convert, if an clearance of if NOC is 1 year, please increase the time from 1 year to 5 year, 5 year to 15 years, or try to make it permanent unless revoked in case of there is a violation. Each type of suggestions we will be expecting from your sides. Friends, these are few things which I wanted to share. But today's focus is on our AIF partner today. You are next. Miss Monica is here. And I think we all will be very, very happy to listen to her, because most of the startups are now moving ahead and they will need to approach these funds also. And Miss Monica will be today, I think, giving you some secrets what needs to be done in terms to secure those fundings. So thank you everyone. So I will be now in mostly in listening mode. Over to Akshay.
So now I would request Ms. Monica to start the session. Ma'am, please go ahead. And from the point of view that incubators and startups are the listeners today, So how to make them understand how to apply for this fund and whom to contact for further details.
And
Thank
actually, I
you.
just wanted to be sure, malab, this video also we should be uploading somewhere.
Yes, sir.
Video we will be uploading afterwards
We
somewhere
had
so
not
that.
thought of that, but we will be sharing the presentation that we
Okay.
had thought of.
Thank you.
So we are doing the recording of this session. We'll upload the videos after
Thank
this
you so
meeting.
much for inviting me here. Good day to all of you. And very happy to be here and, putting in front of these startups and other people what I have learned in this ecosystem, in this VC ecosystem. I've been here for the last 5 years. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we can
Okay.
hear. I will request all other listeners, basically audience, to please put their mics on mute mode. So that is my.
I'll also, yes, thank you. I'll just start sharing my screen and let's start with the okay. So, so as you can, as I was told that today I'll be talking to you, sorry, about how to go about if you are a startup or an entrepreneur, and how should you go about raising funds or growing your startup, for building your startup up. 1 second. Need to put this here. Okay. So this is for the entrepreneurs who are looking for capital to grow their startups, and it'll, in simple words, I will try to tell you how you should go about this journey. If you're an entrepreneur and you're going about your business, you must have heard from several people how to go about this. But here the idea is to talk to you about who, why, when, and how you go about venture capital funding. And here I'm assuming that the startups are there in the who are present there here. They belong to they are in the early stage of their journey. First thing, though you would be knowing, but venture capital is the capital which is provided by VCs to startups or young businesses. And they don't provide this capital as a loan or as a debt, but take a stake in the equity of the business. Briefly, I'll talk about different types of VCs, which you might be aware of, but I'll just touch upon them. One is angel investors, which are high net worth individuals who put in their own money in exchange of the equity. Venture capital firms, I belong to one of those. They pool money from various sources. They have their own LPs, their investors who put money in them, and they earn money for their LPs by putting money in these startups. And so they have this is their business. They have a very structured investment process. And most of the VCs, they have their own specialization in terms of investment thesis. Then there are corporate venture capitalists, which are basically family offices or offices of large corporations. And then the government-backed VCs, which are backed by the government, as this UP Fund of Fund is one of them. As I said earlier, VCs usually have an investment thesis, which is very sharply defined. And that could be based on the sector. So either or the business model stage of startups, some are early stage, as Your Nest is an early stage startup. We are focused on B2B, which is the business model, and deep tech, which is the technology which is deployed. But some others even have focus like social or women-centric or geography. That could be their focus area. And that's how different VCs come. So why I'm saying this, that for an entrepreneur, when they reach a VC, it's important that their investment thesis is in alignment with the startup's business. So that helps, obviously. Now, if you look at what a VC brings to the table, it's not just capital. So many times it's advised that somebody could raise money through friends or family or angels. But I think a VC, which is a structured office of which have a structured processes, they bring to the table not just capital, but several other things, which is listed here on this slide. And that is, one is they are the people running the VC fund are usually experts in the market. They have their experience and expertise in the industry, and that they offer to the startup entrepreneurs for their business, for running their business. Networks and connections also help a lot, because they make the introductions to other stakeholders in the ecosystem, and that proves beneficial in the further journey of a startup. Mentorship and support comes from their expertise of the people who are running that VC fund. When I talk about validation and credibility, it's actually because usually a VC, when they invest in a startup, they do so after doing their own due diligence. And that gives a signal to the market that because complete diligence has been done about this startup, and hence there is something in it. So that provides acts as an endorsement to the business of that startup. Similarly, follow on funding, as well as introductions for anything which is required, as well as exit opportunities are a business where VCs can help greatly. Now, if you're a startup, how do you prepare for VC funding? You have to see what does a VC require, and we should be prepared for that, because whatever is required from them, if we are prepared with those questions or those parameters, then it makes life easy, and it's easier to get funding from them. So let's see. When is the right time to approach VCs? That is something which is very crucial, that when you should start funding process. Now, this is a long process, and before starting to approach VCs, we should see that these things are ready with us, that we have, because VCs, although there are VCs which will invest in an idea stage startup also, but usually VCs like to see that there is a proof of concept, there is an MVP ready, there is some revenue model validation has happened, and that tells them that this idea, this product is ready to be accepted by the market, by the customers. We at your nest, we like to see some traction because that gives us the faith that there's somebody who wants to buy it. So early traction, revenue model validation is important, and I think that is the time when you should start approaching the VCs. Similarly, you have to show whether you have a scalable business model, funding requirements. What you should be ready with? What are your funding requirements? That is the first question that they would ask. A VC would ask you that what is the funding requirement and what is the basis of that. Similarly, how you are going to use that fund. And last thing is you have to have your team ready. I keep saying that single founder is somehow a liability. Too many cooks spoil the broth, but a single founder is also not a very good thing to have. So you have the team ready and show the VCs that you have a strong team which has the relevant experience in the business that you're doing. I talked about in the last slide only, but you have, before you approach a VC, all these things should be ready. What is the fund that you require, what is the valuation expectations, as well as how you're going to utilize that fund, and after receiving the fund, where you are going to reach, what are the milestones that you're going to achieve. All these things should be ready with you before you approach the VC. Here again, because VCs want to see a startup which has achieved a strong product market fit and demonstrated traction and market validation, traction and growth metrics. If you can show them, these go a long way in getting the exchange of capital. Team is really important because the VCs don't just want to invest in an idea or a product or a service, but they also want to see a strong team behind that idea or that service. So if you, again, you should have a relevant team with the relevant experience. And if you can show the VCs that you have this team which have their roles clearly defined. And when I said single founder is not very welcome, then you have complementary skills. So you complete each other in this business. Similarly, track record and experience is also given attention to by the VCs. Now, this is one thing. Though in a fundraise, during a fundraise, an investor a VC will do due diligence of your business, of a startup business. But I suggest that you should also do a due diligence on the potential investors that you will be approaching. And that can be done by, of course, you read about who are the investors, who are the VCs, who are in your area, whose expertise is your business. Because as we'll see in the later slides also, that it's not just the capital that we require, a business requires, a startup requires from the VCs. There are several other things. And so, for example, if a B2C company comes to your nest, we are not very happy investing. because our the partners, etc., they have their strength and expertise and experience in B2B business models. So even if a very good B2C company comes to us, we'll be slightly worried of investing in them, because we cannot provide the expertise or the experience or the mentorship or guidance which is required from a VC, from us, other than the capital. So yeah, so you should do the thorough research on what kind of VC will be gelling with your business. Compatibility is what I just spoke about. Then also look at the track record. You should also do the due diligence on the VC and not just take money from anybody. That is important for the long run. References do help. So if you can, if you have friends or colleagues or other people who have taken funding from that particular VC, and they can act as good referrals, and that is a helpful point. Now, pitch deck. Now I have given 4 slides to this to how to prepare a pitch deck. This is my actually favorite point. At Your Nest, we see about 250 to 300 deals which come in every month. And the pitch deck is the first thing that we see when a startup approaches us. Now, that is the first thing that one sees, and we see. And now let me tell you one thing also, that pitch deck is not a tool for raising funds. Okay, a pitch deck is something which is, you send to somebody so that they are interested, and then they talk to you. So in a way, it is the best thing a pitch deck can do for you is arrange a next meeting. Okay, having said that, I would, as I said, I see 300 pitch decks every month, and sometimes they're a source of frustration because they are all hodgepodge. They are very complex, using jargons, putting too much text in one slide. So, and that sometimes confuses. So these 3 points, if you could keep in mind while preparing a pitch deck, even before I tell you what are the things that should be there in a pitch deck, I would like to tell you how overall you should, what should be your approach towards making a pitch deck. So first thing is, keep it legible. Legible as in not cluttered. And the test would be a person with a bad eyesight can see it from a distance. Yeah, so use large type, bold text, etc., etc. Please don't write in white on a black background. It's very difficult to read that. Yeah, so keep it simple. Don't go by jargons. Just say what you are doing. Don't go by trends. If somebody else can understand easily, that serves the purpose of your pitch deck. One slide, one idea. That is, although it's very commonsensical, but sometimes we forget that. So that's why I'm mentioning it. And keep it obvious. it should be so obvious that there should not be any ambiguity. There should not be any confusion about what you're trying to say. Yeah. So that is one thing, I wanted to tell you. Now, what should you put in a pitch deck? Basically, we are putting those things, those points in a pitch deck, which a VC wants to see. A VC wants answer to. So these are the things. One is, if you can start your slide, your pitch deck with a vision statement, basically stating your business in one sentence. If you can do that, very well. In 2 sentences, okay. So, but just tell in like a tweet, like a tweet in whatever characters, whatever. So just concisely tell what you are planning to do, what you are doing, what you're trying to do. Second thing, which is very important and which a VC wants to know, is very clearly define the problem that you're trying to solve. And is there anything, anybody else? I mean, you are solving this problem, but why now? Has anybody else done that before you? So all those points can be addressed here. Then, of course, the solution. What is the solution that you're offering to your problem? And what is unique about it? Because unless there is some innovation in some form or manner, a VC will not be interested. So tell that clearly, that what is unique about the way that you're solving this problem. That is very important. And of course, market and the product. These are the points which I have written here, that you should mention what is the market size of the problem that you're solving, what is the growth potential, and who are the other people who are doing some similar stuff. Now, when I say about the product, it's different from the solution. If you can show the product, if you can give a short demo there, a video in a video format, that is very helpful. Okay, so let's come to the next slide. Then, of course, a VC is interested in knowing that what you have done, how far you have come once from where you started. So just give the highlights of all the metrics that you can do. No? Similarly, as I said, VCs look for a team, for the founders. They actually many VCs, including us, we say that we invest in more than the idea, we invest in the founders. So introduce your team members, say what is unique about them, or what is their relevant experience, which aligns with your business. Competition, again, it's very interesting or funny, I should say, that many startups which come to us and then they say that we are the first one to do this. And it's not true. Why? Because they don't know about who else is doing a similar thing in the market. So I'm saying that you should know about your competition also, and you should know them very well. And also you should kind of say why you are different from them. Not better, as I've written in this, not just better, but how you are different, how you are different from other players present in the market is something that will really interest a VC. Show the innovation that you're doing. Financials, of course, VC is interested in knowing, and they want answers to these questions: that what has been your cash burn, how have you run your business so far, and what are your financial projections? Where? So give a table if possible. And of course, the last thing here in this slide is what is your expectation in terms of amount that you want to raise, and also how you're going to utilize those funds. So these are few things which should come on a pitch deck. And again, as a person who sees these pitch decks, if any of this information is not there on the pitch deck, we have to ask for it to understand the business before actually talking to the founder. So yeah. Again, I'm just going to highlight what I said in this, that your pitch deck, again, it needs to be a story about the market, about the problem you're solving, about how you're solving it, so it appeals to the person who's reading it. I'm repeating this thing, that have a deep understanding of not just your product, but also the market and the competition. You should know everything about the competition. And please don't say that we are the only one who's doing it. Just find out. You will find there are other people also doing it. Might be at a beginning stage or a later stage, but they usually are. They usually are. Okay. Basically, a pitch deck is to show a VC that what is the value they can see in you. What is the value they can get if they invest in your startup. Say, after this, if everything goes further, the due diligence happening and etc., there are a few things which you should be prepared during this process. And I think for this, you'll need some guidance, some mentoring, some people who know about it. For example, valuation. How do you value how do you convey that this is the valuation we are looking for to a VC? So for that you'll have to get an understanding of. Similarly, investment amount and structure. You know what is the equity that investor will receive, and how after the investment the board seats are there. So all these and what will be the involvement? How much involvement will the investor have in your business, in your day-to-day business, in your policy decisions, in your decision making? So all these things should be thought of, and if possible, have a guidance about this. Similarly, you should think about the exit strategy and how you are going to, because a VC has his eye on the exit. His purpose is to give you an exit for the next round, or for acquisition, or for anything, because that's how they make money. So you should have some discussion around these things also. These are certain things that I think I have talked about these also. Am I going, exceeding my time limit?
No, that should be fine. I will tell, but I think it's fine. Please continue.
Okay, sure.
जब ट्रांसफर होता है ना तो फिर वो जल्दी से वो ना क्या करते कि कोई उस समय
Somebody, okay.
Please, we have to learn this art of, keeping ourselves muted. Thank you.
Okay. So here I have just listed down certain, avenues by which you can approach, you can find some investors, because they are also, many startups, they just don't know how to approach a startup, an investor. Shivam, okay. So yeah, here one is, of course, research and identify relevant agencies. Just read about them and do your research. Of course, if there's somebody who knows in your network, if somebody knows a VC, that is called a warm introduction, of course, and that really helps, because instead of a cold call or a cold mail, that is a better way of going to an investor, to a VC. But if that is not possible, then you can definitely reach out via mail also. Almost every VC now have a button, a submission, proposal submission button on their websites. At least we have, and I have seen many others also. So you can just, they also prefer that you can reach them. So you find out about different VCs and write a mail. And also a preparation of an elevator pitch, which is very concise in 1 or 2 minutes. If you happen to meet somebody, then you should be prepared to tell them about your business. And that is what an elevator pitch is. And fifth is attend networking events. And I have seen many founders who attend such conferences or pitch competitions, etc., and networking events where VCs are present. And of course, VCs are also on the lookout of a good startup to invest in. So it's a win-win situation. It's not just your job to, we also are on the lookout of a good startup, always. Now we have talked about benefits as well as benefits of taking funds from a venture capital. But there are certain drawbacks also, and I thought I should tell you about the drawbacks also. So one is, give me a second, please. One is, of course, in turn for their money, you give equity to them. So your equity is diluted. And as you go further and further, as you go for further rounds, your equity gets diluted even further. So that is something you should keep in mind while negotiating at the time of receiving funds, at the time of negotiations. Then second thing is when a VC is involved in your day-to-day decisions, or not day-to-day, of course, but your policy decisions, you kind of lose autonomy, or you might feel. But most good VCs, they also understand that ultimately the business is not going to be run by them. We at Your Nest have the same philosophy, that the business will be run by the founders. We will only help wherever help is required. But this is something, again, one should think about. And then, because you've been given money, then there's some expectation about meeting your targets and reaching your goals in time. And this pressure is from the VCs who have given you their money. So that is that you should be prepared about. Having said that, I think still the benefits, they overpower the drawbacks from a VC. So yeah. So this is my conclusion. In conclusion, I'm saying this thing that I think
I would request all the participants to kindly put up their questions on the chat box, and I would also request ma'am to address the questions from there so that we can have something in order.
yes,
So
yes.
if anyone has any further questions, please type it on the chat box and it will be addressed from there.
Akhil is asking what should be the next next steps to what?
Ma'am, it must be in that context. If any startup finds themselves in that position to apply for the fund to that, what should be the next step for them?
So I'll tell you what happens at Your Nest, and I think process is similar, more or less similar in others. So once we see a pitch deck and we like it, and we see all the information which is, which we require is there. If not, then we ask for the information. And if everything is, we like, then we set up a call. That is the stage when an interview or a call, a virtual call happens. That is the thing. Yes.
A follow-up on that, ma'am. So basically, at where should we send the pitch deck, or is it like my idea is, for example, let's say in terms of seed fund, let's say there's a seed fund program at the central level as well. So we applied as an accelerator, and they loved it. They said that we were selected, but it was like we crossed that 45 days limit in which we could have been given, due to which we were unable to get that grant of 50 lakh rupees that is available by the central government. And now hence we cannot reapply in 3 months. So in all these schemes, I just find that my name is Akhil Agrawal. I'm from IIT Kharagpur 2020 batch, and we have already grown to a team of 10. We have traction of 4 paying hotels, and we are generating revenue at this stage as well. So now at this stage, growing the product fast becomes very vital. But at the pace which this system goes, does not allow us to put in that much of energy, or we have no idea as in like in what time period are we going to get that money. For example, if you need the money in 1 month and you're getting it in 4 months, and you need to put in constant, then it does not justify or doesn't really help at that point of time. So I wanted to understand the system, how fast can it move, and where can we get this information in a very seamless manner, because that is missing right now, in my opinion.
The information you can get anytime.
Yes.
But the receiving funds is a long process. Let me tell you this thing.
Okay.
That's why I said that it is a long process. In fact, for an early stage startup, it's also a problem that one person, you have a team, you have a small team, one person is going to be busy with the VC, with fundraising activity. Excuse me. So that will remain a problem, and it's not a quick task. You will usually, again, at Your Nest, if everything goes well, even then due diligence happens, then your tech, because we are a deep tech fund, deep tech focused fund. So we do a tech evaluation and everything there like that. It takes definitely not less than not more, I don't know, at least 8 weeks for money to hit your bank.
Noted.
If
I think
everything goes,
got
if
it.
everything goes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can share my contact number. Yes, of course, I can do that.
Yeah.
And there's a question, is there any opportunity for the incubators? So we are connected with the incubators. We are connected with the with several accelerators and incubators as well. IIT Kanpur, I was there in IIT Kanpur recently when you had your, was it called Abhivyakti? Some program. So but a VC funding will take its own time. The process, the evaluation process will take its own time. Whether you're coming from an incubator or from, coming through a cold call, that time remains same.
And one more follow-up, ma'am. You were talking about the second pillar, as in like physical, one second, sorry. As in like physically helping with assets, for example, co-working spaces or places where we can work at. So does the government have link with, let's say, IIT Kanpur, or I believe at IIT Kharagpur, we used to have an e-cell where we had a dedicated space where startups can come and work. So do we support in that sense as well, where we have like access to co-working spaces, etc.?
So Yourness doesn't do that.
Okay.
We can provide you guidance. We can provide you mentorship. We can give you the our network, our contacts. All the partners have deep contacts in the business, but co-working space is not something that that Yourness per se provides. That you can get from the incubators as well as accelerators.
There are a few more questions, I think. Akshay, can you read those?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, please. Okay. So, like, at how much traction one should start looking for VC funding? There is one by Priyanka Mathur.
How much traction? Sorry, I
At how much traction? Can you see the questions, Monica?
I can see some of them. Okay. How much traction? So because we are in early stage, it depends. I'll talk about Yourness. We are an early stage fund. So if you can show us 1 or 2 customers who are buying your product or services, that's enough for us. That gives us the idea that somebody is willing to pay for them. So traction per se doesn't mean anything, but you have 1 or 2 customers, and that also gives an idea what are the charges going to be for your product or for your services.
Yeah. Hi, ma'am.
Yeah, hi.
Ma'am, I have one question.
Hi, Sudhi. Boliye.
Actually, we are in the R&D stage. We are developing a prototype model of a battery, new kind of battery. So we were very much confused about how much equity should we give to the investors and how we are going to repay it, as we are still in the R&D stage.
So again, Sudhir, there are VCs who come in at that R&D stage also. It's just that Yourness is not one of them, but there are VCs who will come in at an R&D stage. In fact, okay, let me repeat Yourness investment thesis. So we are either B2B or B2B2C focused. And deep tech product start, we look for deep tech startups which have a technology moat in the form of a patent. That is our focus. So, and we come in at a stage where the minimum viable product is there, as well as the revenue model validation has happened. But having said that, we have invested in some in a pre-product as well as a pre-revenue company from our third fund. So, and we did that because we found the idea as well as the technology, as well as the founders, very compelling, very extraordinary. So we went for that. But otherwise, RMB is required for your nest. But there are others who come in at a pre-product stage.
Ma'am, how can we connect to these VCs who are investing in R&D?
Are you connected with any incubator or accelerator?
Yes, ma'am. We are currently incubated at IIT BH.
So they will tell you they will have this a list. But if they don't, then I can provide you a list of. I will be able to do that.
I think that will be a good basically points, learning points for our team also, for my like startup team. Abhishek,
Sure.
we can note it down, and we should also somehow try to list down VCs based on their stage of funding.
Their investment thesis. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And we should put it on our website also, give links, etc. Good point.
Sure, sir, we'll do that, sir.
I can help that. Jonas can help in that.
Yes. I don't know, is there another question I can read? Is there any policy to get funds for software development company? That should be an easier one. Then one is the period for, there is one more, let me read, the period for which startup and VC remain connected. Is it fixed or it is mutually decided? And I think, yes, these are the two questions which you can answer, Monica.
So the period for which startups and VC remain connected, actually VCs enter the relationship, so to say, with an eye on the exit. So somebody has said this, and this is like a marriage where the divorce date is already decided. So yeah, it is mutually decided. It's also decided by the milestones that a startup reaches. So yes. And then either you go for a next round or you get acquired by something, and that is the time this VC will decide to exit. Okay. How many startups are funded by you? Okay, sorry.
ये सॉफ्टवेयर कंपनी के लिए कोई फंड वीसी कोई फंड करता है क्या?
सब करते हैं, हम करते हैं, हम भी करते हैं.
That's why मैं आपका नंबर मांग रहा था, आपका नंबर अगर दे दें.
हम लोग
आपको ना
कोऑर्डिनेट्स आप जो कोऑर्डिनेट्स देंगे हम लोग शेयर कर देंगे इनको.
हाँ, why don't you write to me? I have given my email ID.
email ID दे दीजिए.
आप मुझे उस पे लिख दीजिए.
Sure.
So my team जो है starting team should actually take the email ID etc. coordinates with which they are comfortable.
Yeah, sure.
Share it with every participant.
Definitely, absolutely.
One or two more questions I think can be taken.
What is the range of fund size that Your Nest invests in seed and pre-seed? Though seed and pre-seed is not invested by us, but otherwise our sweet spot from a check size perspective is $0.5 to $1 million.
Hello.
And what else? So we have invested in 35 companies till now. We are very pick and choose kind of a company. We don't spray and pray kind of philosophy we don't deal with. So total 35 companies we have invested in till now. What due diligence should be taken care of while choosing a good investor? So you have to see whether their investment thesis aligns with your business, number one. Because if you two are not aligned, then that will not fructify, the relationship will not happen. Second thing you should check is the reputation of that particular VC. I think these are two very important things that you should go for.
Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Myself, Dr. Heather, and we are a health tech startup incubated in the Navyug Navachar Foundation, Institute of Engineering and Technology, Lucknow. So, ma'am, actually, we have a good choice of investors from the traditional business background, and they doesn't know about the startup ecosystem actually. So there is a need in some cities of Uttar Pradesh for the traditional businessmen who are willing to invest in some startups, but they don't know about the startup ecosystem. So how can we connect the traditional businessmen to the startup ecosystem, and how can we avail the investment opportunities from them?
So like in Punjab, they had this Punjab Angels, actually they were called. And I attended one of their programs and events, and it was filled with two kind of people. They were either bureaucrats or businessmen, total traditional businessmen. So yeah, I think something of that sort could happen. There is no UP Angels that I have heard till now, but something of that sort, you could.
I would like to come in here, Dr. Heather. So, seeing the potential of HNIs for investment in UP, very recently we had started conducting workshops for HNIs in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. We had 3 workshops in Kanpur, Moradabad, and Bareilly, and with a series of around 8 to 10 workshops in cities like Varanasi, Allahabad in coming days, we would create a network of people who are far below than VC, but would be really interested in investing in local products. So that's one thing which StartInUP has been doing. 3 workshops have already been conducted to target such individuals of the city who can invest in these startups.
There, Monica ji, there are 2-3 more questions. I think if you can answer those. Starting.
Okay.
We are construction tech company. Can you see that? There is one above that also. What should be the minimum traction as in early traction?
Oh, that one I have answered. Yeah. How VC measure the valuation of a startup? That's an exercise actually. I would not be able to tell you here in this era, but there are benchmarkings in the market, and according look at the kind of business, whether it's product, if it is service led, and what is the revenue. Usually have a multiple of revenue. A different multiple in case of service-led business, and a different multiple in case of product.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I just asked this question just because of I approaches many VCs. So we are at early stage of traction, and you may say that early stage of revenue. So they used to say that this is a very early traction where we don't invest. So as you were presenting your deck, and you were saying that it should be the early traction. So I just want to know that what should be the early traction, at least the criteria of early traction. Our product is the B2B model.
Your product is B2B model. Criteria for traction is again, I'll repeat it myself. You show me 1 or 2 or 3 enterprise or businesses who are using your solution, and show me that either they are
so basically we are
renewing the contract, or they're doing no churn out or something like that. That works.
Okay, no problem. I would like to connect with you separately, and I will explain about
sure. So on our website, which is yournest.in, on our website there's a button where you can submit your proposal.
Of course, I will do that.
You do that.
No, I'm just asking just
or
because
you
I got
write to
the
me.
feedback from the others VC investors, just like, and even I have tried to the Chandigarh Angel Networks and the Indian Angel Networks as well. So they used to that. It is a very no early stage of traction for us. So we would like to connect in future or further if you increase your traction in terms of number revenue.
There is, I see another question, Monica ji. Is debt funding better for early stage since multiple strings and conditions are attached with equity VC?
So in debt funding, what? Yeah. So a VC which gives you money is also taking a risk because you are in an early stage. There are equal chances of, a startup failing. Out of 10, 3 or 4 definitely do not go further. And out of 10, again, 2 or 3 only reach next round. But in debt funding, if you can, I mean, बैंक से लोन मिलता भी कहाँ से है, आसानी से मिलता नहीं है. If you can manage it, yeah, go for it. Debt funding is definitely something which you should look at, and that's why I mentioned about the drawbacks. You have to see, and as a founder, you'll be the best judge of doing that. With VC funding, you don't just get capital, but you also get a partner, so to say, who can help you, who can guide you in the business that you're doing. And that is why VCs have their particular focus. They go to that startup only where they can also provide value, where they have their own expertise. That's why. So I would say that one needs to decide about this. As a founder, you need. Having said that, there are the banks these days are doing a lot for debt to startups also. HSBC, Axis Bank, IDFC, all of them are, doing this debt funding for startups. They have their own thing, departments.
So, although this question is not directed towards me, but I would like to add here. So for the startups, I think it is always good to go for with the VCs, because VCs are basically they are taking risk along with you. So in some sense, they are bringing some sort of founder with you, some sort of partner.
Absolutely.
But then they bring a lot of value in terms of getting customers, in terms of putting you in many things they do. And when you go for a debt, basically the interest liability will start after some time. And I have seen in my 30 years of service, being a bureaucrat, many of the companies who are ultimately profitable, but get closed because of this cash flow problem. So it's a huge issue. And I don't think a founder should, in his initial years, will be bothered with these things. Yes, if you go for an equity debt funding, this funding with VC, you have to take some hit on your equity. Like once you move towards unicorn, that may become an issue. That is, you could have made much more, and a bigger chunk of it goes to the VC. That's a call, of course, you have to take. But at initial stages, I think it always be good to go for VC because they bring a lot of value on the table. Not only the fund, a lot of value.
And a VC also is not giving you funds in this round. They usually have some money for you for your next round also. Also, they connect you to different people, different stakeholders. That goes without saying.
So there is one more question. How can we raise pre-seed funding? I think you have answered it, but maybe even then you want to add something.
Pre-seed, there are some VCs who go for pre-seed, but not many. Number one, I will give a list.
That is, I think, a job for my team. Basically, we
Yeah,
should.
yeah. Please connect, and I will provide a list of
Yes.
those.
Thank you. There are a few questions for us also, but I think that Akshay can take care of later. At present, since Monica ji is there, time is like an asset for us. So, any other last question? Otherwise, I will request Akshay to move to the next session first. Let us ask one question. If there is last one question from Monica ji.
Acha, okay. There's this question you were also talking about that they are a construction tech company and their major revenue source is B2G.
Yes.
Do investors consider this model as an investment opportunity? I can answer about Honest. Where government is the only customer, we see a concentration risk, and though we look at that, but I can't say that this is the very preferred model for us, for be honest, because we see a concentration risk in terms of customer. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah. With this, I would like to thank ma'am and all the participants for actively participating in this session. So before going on to the next session, I see last two questions on the chat box. One of that is about how to apply for StartInUP. So once we make you walk through the portal, the representative will also tell about that. And the next one is about the relaxation in procurement in the UP government. Well, for the EMD and past performance, MSME has already issued a government order for this relaxation in line with the 2016 notification of Government of India. We would request you to bring to our notice in which particular tenders someone is not following that geo, but that geo exists, and we would also be sharing that on the group before the closing of this session. And the second thing is for the startups working in IT field, till the limit of orders of 15 lakh, separate empanelment for startups is also allowed in the agencies of IT department. So with this, I would request my StartInUP team to start the next session to take us all of us through the portal.
And we thank Monica ji for her valuable time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Shared our email ID. I think you may have seen in the chat box, and we will be sharing through our WhatsApp group also. And she has also guided you that you can basically startups can take this opportunity to upload their projects on their website also. Please feel free to take this opportunity. And thank you, Monica ji, very much. Thank you very much. Once you get all those applications, please consider them at the earliest. Feedback also, please share the feedback also. It will be good learning for us also. Thank you, Monica.
So,
thank you.
Anshul and Monish, kindly.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So, myself Monish, and I am from StartInUP team. So, today we'll go through the website and portal of the StartInUP initiative. I will share with you. I hope I am audible and my screen is visible.
Yes, Monish, you are.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I hope all of the incubators and startups have visited this website a few weeks back. It is being revamped and changed to in a new aesthetic way. So for the better user experience. So I will go through the homepage as of now. So you can see the Startup India, the list of the startups which are registered in UP itself, and StartInUP recognized startups, incubators recognized by StartInUP as of now, and the COEs which are approved, total incentives disbursed, and total incentives which are approved for the upcoming years, that is 5 years. You may have read about the goals of the StartInUP policy as well, and you can just read out everything which is written in the policy in a better explanation way. So these are the PDFs of the events which are undertaken as of now, the government orders and news and updates. You will get there. You can directly access our Twitter post from this portal. And talking about this new feature, This is the like map of the Uttar Pradesh, as you may recognize this, and 75 districts are visible here. You can just click on any of the district. Like suppose I'll click now here, and you can see like 12 of the incubators are there, which are recognized by StartInUP, and 238 startups are recognized by StartInUP. And you can directly see the information. First, I'll go through the incubators which are registered in Lucknow, and their profiles are visible here. You can, if I would say about the Kalam Center for Innovation and Incubation, just click on it. And under the portfolio, you may see all the 41 startups which are recognized by StartInUP are listed down here, and which comes under the domain of the Kalam Incubation Center, right? And you can see the contact number, the mail ID, and the sector on which the incubator is focused on. And if you wanna connect it to the one of the incubator or the startup, you can just open the profile of a startup, and you may get the idea like from which sector it is, at what stage it is, right? And I will just go back. I hope my screen is visible. Okay, so we are keep on improving this page of the incubator and startup. We will keep on adding the profile, the portfolio, the other things, the events undertaken by this incubator. We will keep on adding them. We are open for the suggestions for this for improving this page as well. Now, I'll go back and see if any startup want to connect with a similar domain startup and industry. Just they can search on these filters. They can get connected. The sectors, all sectors are visible here, and the stage of the startup, whether the startup is at early stage or the validation, early traction, or scaling. They may get connected to those startups and get the feedback of the incubator, the facilities which are there, and whether they are receiving all those benefits, the mentorship, what kind of requirement they have. They may reach directly to the startups directly before applying for any incubation, and get to know more about that, rather than just researching in an open domain. They can contact directly to the startups which are already incubated there, and get the feedback. That will not be much time taking process, and it will be much more easier for them beforehand in getting incubated to those of the incubators. So talking about the policy objectives are available here, and the innovation areas, the new tab is being introduced, in which if the startups is in the domain of rural impact, it is the rural impact startup, it is circular economy focus, sustainability, renewable energy, and climate change. The startups will get 50% extra incentive under the sustenance allowance and the seed capital. I'll make sure like you will go through that also. So you may get to know more about our leadership team, and the you can also know about the nodal agency from here, the nodal officer which is being appointed, and about the StartInUP team as well. You can see all the profiles which are being mentioned here, the address of the office as well, and about the team. Now, talking about the registration process, like startup is more, I may have checked a few of the startups wanted to know like how they can apply for the grants, the incentives, the benefits which are available for them. So I will go through that now. But first in hand, I will showcase you the fundings which are available, like sustenance allowance. So startup will get INR 17,500 per month. It is preferable for the startups which are at early stage. You can directly just click on it and get yourself registered under the StartInUP policy and apply for this allowance. And further, after the evaluation, the funds will be disbursed. Same is in the case of prototype development and marketing assistance. And as I told you earlier, there are few of the guidelines which are written specifically for the startups which are under the domain of these category, which are these area, they will get the 50% extra amount. Also, it is being written here, the additional 50% grant shall also be applicable to the startups working in the following sector, which are mentioned here as well. And the notices regarding, as Akshay sir also said, regarding the public procurement, the information is available here. You may check. So the government order is also mentioned here, and the eligibility criteria is also set, and the points are being mentioned here. You all can go through it. If you have any queries related to that, you can get back to us. Now, talking about the center of excellences which are established and how you can connect it to them. This is the first center of excellence under the medtech domain. You can go through all these parameters, the focus areas, the selection process, everything is mentioned here in eco-friendly way, and you can just go through it. What are the benefits you will be getting after getting registered here, and their website is also being mentioned. Same is in the case of artificial intelligence and innovation driven entrepreneurship aid. This center is based out in Noida, sector 62. And talking about the innovation hub, all the facilities you can get are mentioned here under the tab. Now, talking about getting from the starting, the registration manual is being uploaded on the portal for the startup registration and the incubator registration. Step by step, everything is written so that you may not find any confusion or something. So this is the user manual for the startups, how they can get registered under the StartInUP, and it is much more easier way than earlier, because the whole the registration form is being updated in a better way, user friendly way. So you can get registered from the StartInUP portal, and these are the further steps which are written here. You may find those all the 3 steps which you have to fulfill: the name of the startup, the host institution, entity type, and everything. The common application form is here. You can get registered in StartInUP through 2 ways. First is the Nivesh Mitra portal, and the second is StartInUP portal. But we will encourage you if you go through this Nivesh Mitra portal as well. So this is the startups which may have registered with us from like past 1 year or so. They may recognize the changes which are being made in the portal as well. So this is all about the startup profile, how they can get registered. I will just open up and showcase you the portal as well. So this is the dashboard of the startup when it has fill out the application form and being being accepted by the StartInUP team. This is the profile of the startup. These are the 4 steps which the startup has filled. You may change all of the parameters if there is any change by requesting to the StartInUP team, and it can be done easily. You may download your profile as well directly to share among the incubator. This feature is also been made. So in one click, you can download your profile, right? And if you want to connect to the incubator, list of incubator is provided to you along with their mail ID, the phone number, the website, the address, everything is mentioned here. And to apply in those incubators, you may go through the apply incentive forms, right? And then you can see the applied incentive list. So suppose I have applied to this incubator, the Sujit, this is the testing one, and applied. Now you can check the status of your application form, and further you can check the status like recommendation is pending. From here you can check the status. If you feel any problem in any scenario, you can just go through the grievance redressal mechanism. You just add your grievance. Your startup name, email ID is already filled in these boxes. You just have to fill in the grievance or the feedback you want to get to address, and we will resolve your grievance in within 5 working days. And these are the list of grievances which have been submitted earlier, and you can check the status as well. So this is how you can see like I have sent hi. So from admin, you will get the response. It is basic, like for the easier user-friendly experience, we have just made it in a chatbot type system. Okay. So I will showcase you now how the incubator will address all these kind of incentives or approve them. So now I'm logging into the incubator portal. So this is the form which you have been seeing as of now. It is also being revamped. The new portal is in the testing mode and will be live within like 2 days. I will showcase you that one as well. And the registration manual is also uploaded for the new one as well. So it is already there. And you can go through your incubator profile. You can check everything is in place or not. You may have checked this portal already, but I will showcase you the new one. So this is how your portal will be from now on. You just only 5 options are there, easy to process everything. You can download your recognition certificate from just one click, and you have applied for the incentives. You can check the status here. If you want to view your application form, just click on this option and you can check all the parameters which you have submitted while submitting the application. Talking about the startups which have applied for the incubation or for your recommendation, you may see from here. So these are the startups which have applied for your incubation, right? You may be seeing like 58 entries as of now. So you have to approve or reject them on there, and you can also get to know the profile of the startup as well. What is the profile, the founder name, the incorporation details, and what is the equity percentage. You may check that beforehand so that you can recommend that startup uh, in a better manner. If the startup co-founded equity has a woman co-founder with more than 26% of the shareholding pattern, then you can recommend them for the 50% extra grant as well. So for that process, this feature is also being introduced. Now, after approving them from here, you will get to know about those 2 startups which are incubated and you have accepted them. Now, to revoke them, you can also go through this portal, right? And these are the startups which have applied for the incentives. As I showcased about this one earlier, few minutes back. So I have applied for the sustenance allowance, right? In this incubator only. So this application is being viewed here, and it is basically pending for the recommendation. So for that, you just need to, recommend from here on. And as the founder is a woman co-founder, right? So extra allowance is mentioned here, and this is the total amount. Here the portal will automatically fetch that information. And this is the grievance or redressal mechanism. Say for the same as the startup, the incubator can submit the grievance or the issue they are facing, and they will get the response within 5 working days. Yeah, if anyone has any questions regarding that, you may ask, please.
Monisha?
Yeah.
Sir, namaskar. This is Karan Avasthi from Artshala Center for Design.
हाँ जी.
सर आपसे बस एक सवाल था. हमारी जो एप्लीकेशन थी फॉर इंसेंटिव हैज बीन रिव्यूड एंड प्रोसेस्ड बाय आवर इनक्यूबेटर व्हिच इज RECM मेनपुरी. और वहां से उनका सिर्फ एक क्वेरी आया था कि हमें जो ग्रांट है वो रेलेवेंट ग्रांट सेलेक्ट करना था, व्हिच मींस दैट वी हैड टू एडिट आवर एप्लीकेशन. और पोर्टल पे अगर आप जाओ तो सर वो आप एक बारी जब एप्लीकेशन सबमिट कर देते हो टू द इनक्यूबेटर, देन यू आर नॉट एबल टू मेक एनी चेंजेस टू इट. So we have been writing to the StartInUP support team since Monday, since we received that email from our incubator. There has been no email or any kind of feedback or communication from the support team. So just a humble request, sir, if you can help us in that, because our application for the incentive has been processed and has been reviewed by the Innovation UP team also and RECM team as well. सिर्फ वो एक फाइनल चेंज करना है. वो जो आपका जो रेलेवेंट ग्रांट कैटेगरी है वो सिलेक्ट करनी है. हमने पहले सस्टेनेंस कर रखा था. रिव्यू के बाद में हमें बताया गया कि आप सीड मार्केटिंग के लिए जाएं, तो बस हमें वो चेंज करना है.
See, the problem you are facing is not a common problem कि आपने पहले अप्लाई कर दिया, उसकी रिकमेंडेशन मिल गई है आपको, एंड जब आपकी इवैल्यूएशन हो चुकी है आप उसके बाद चेंज करवा रहे हैं. सी
नहीं, मोनी सर नहीं, अभी रिकमेंडेशन हुई नहीं है. वी आर स्टिल इन प्रोसेस.
Okay, you are in process. Okay, as I told you, okay. So okay, we'll connect with you separately. Okay, and including your incubation manager. Okay. Because that request has to be raised by
manager is
incubator
Shri
only.
Ansuman Singh Chauhan.
Okay. So I will just connect to them. Okay, because this request has to be raised by the incubator only. Okay.
हाँ sir.
Yeah.
Sir, Anshuman sir has also sent in a supporting email along with that chain mail that we had started on Monday.
Yeah, we are connected with them. Yeah,
perfect.
From our team is already connected with them. But as I requested you earlier, just give us 5 working days as well, because you have sent the request on Monday only, right? So just give us 5 to 6 working days so that we can resolve it. Right.
Perfect,
because
sir.
It
Thank
is
you so
about
much,
the
sir.
incentive, right? And we have to change it.
Sir, it was just a small change that needed to be made before the incubator can actually process our application and give us the final recommendation.
Okay, great. We'll get back to the incubation manager.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Monish ji, I have one question. ये हमारे पास सीड ग्रांट के लिए और प्रोटोटाइप के लिए और सस्टेनेंस के लिए एक रिकमेंडेशन का प्लेटफॉर्म बना है. उसी तरीके से इवेंट पार्टिसिपेशन और पेटेंट सपोर्ट के लिए.
Yes. तो वो मैं आपको बताता हूँ कि जैसे अभी आपने चेंजेस देखे होंगे कि इंक्यूबेटर की प्रोफाइल में भी काफी चेंजेस आए हैं पोर्टल पर. स्टार्टअप का ऑलरेडी लाइव हो चुका है, राइट? तो जो 80% वर्क जो है वो इंक्यूबेशन जो इवेंट्स ऑर्गेनाइजर्स के लिए है वो भी बन चुका है. एंड 1 हफ्ते तक वो भी लॉन्च हो जाएगा. एंड फ्रॉम देन ऑन you don't need to like mail or something to us. You just directly create your ID as an event organizer, right? And apply through that only. और उसके बाद ये जो आपको मैंने फीचर दिखाया है, just hold on a second, जहाँ पर आपको मैंने इंक्यूबेटर की प्रोफाइल शोकेस की थी, राइट? वहां पर पोर्टफोलियो के साथ आपके इवेंट्स भी शोकेस किए जाएंगे कि उस इंक्यूबेटर ने कितने इवेंट्स करवाए हैं. ठीक है, तो वो वाला भी इंट्रोड्यूस किया जाएगा. आपकी जो प्रोफाइल है वो मैच कर दी जाएगी बिकॉज द रजिस्ट्रेशन मेल आईडी विल बी द सेम, राइट? वेदर द इवेंट ऑर्गेनाइजर और द इंक्यूबेटर यू हैव रजिस्टर्ड. तो इंक्यूबेटर के साथ
नहीं, ये
यहाँ
तो
पर
अभी
आपका
आप तो मुझे इवेंट ऑर्गेनाइजर का बता रहे हैं ना। मैं ये
हाँ
कह रही
हाँ
हूँ कि जैसे स्टार्टअप को अगर कोई इवेंट में पार्टिसिपेशन के लिए अप्लाई करना है,
हाँ
या स्टार्टअप अगर कोई पेटेंट फाइल कर रहा है, तो उसकी ग्रांट उसका वो रिकमेंडेशन या उसका भी ऑप्शन होना चाहिए ना।
वो है।
ये मैं चाह रही
हाँ
थी। हाँ।
राइट राइट राइट, तो वो वाला ऑप्शन भी उसी के साथ कनेक्टेड है बैकएंड पर। तो
अच्छा अच्छा,
जैसे ही
ठीक
वो
है।
लॉन्च हो जाएगा, क्योंकि इवेंट का पूरा प्रोसीजर ही अपडेट किया जा रहा है ना, ऑटोमेट किया जा रहा है, राइट।
ओके
तो
ओके, फाइन,
एप्लीकेशन
दैट्स
उसी
ग्रेट।
के थ्रू
हाँ
ली जाएगी। हाँ, और ऑटोमेटिकली आपके सारे के सारे जितने भी डॉक्यूमेंट्स हैं, द
हाँ।
इवेंट्स एंड एवरीथिंग, क्या कौन सा इवेंट था, किस टॉपिक पर था, एंड एवरीथिंग वी विल टेक दैट फ्रॉम यू एंड मेक इट लाइव ऑन डायरेक्टली ऑन द पोर्टल, so that there may be sensitization of those events as well.
ओके फाइन, थैंक यू। हाँ,
जी
और एक ये था कि जैसे अभी हमारा पहला जो लेक्चर हुआ था जिसमें बात हो रही थी ना, वो रेप्यूटेड वेंचर
हाँ
कैपिटलिस्ट
जी
की लिस्ट को,
हाँ
तो
जी
उसको अगर आपका स्टार्ट इन यूपी पे अगर एक टैब बन जाएगा, तो वो वेंचर कैपिटलिस्ट को हमें मतलब कॉन्टेक्ट स्टार्टअप को कॉन्फिडेंस रहेगा कि ये रेप्यूटेड है और हमें यहाँ पे चीटिंग होने का कोई चांस नहीं रहेगा। तो वो एक
श्योर
लिस्ट
श्योर
हो जाए
श्योर
अपडेट। और दूसरा एक तो पेटेंट के लिए जो पेटेंट अटॉर्नीज जो उनको गाइड कर सकते, मेंटर कर सकते हैं, अगर उनका भी अगर लिस्ट हो जाए, तो उसमें ये रहेगा कि मतलब थोड़ा सा फी में उसमें एक मतलब वो हो जाता है, और रिलायबिलिटी इश्यूज थोड़े से कम हो जाते हैं, क्योंकि अदरवाइज आप अगर अटॉर्नी टू अटॉर्नी अगर आप बात करते हैं तो फी वेरी कर लेता है, कोई बहुत ज्यादा बता देता है, कोई कम बता देता है। तो अगर ये लिस्ट भी अगर पेटेंट एक्सपर्ट्स की
हेलो,
लिस्ट भी, अटॉर्नीज की लिस्ट भी अगर
हाय
आ जाए
सर,
तो अच्छा रहेगा।
मेल आ गया सर।
ठीक है, तो
मोनिस, इफ यू
उसके
अलाउ आई
रिगार्डिंग भी
कैन इंटरप्ट, मैं इनको आंसर करना
श्योर
चाहूंगा।
श्योर
एक्चुअली अभी हमारा पैप का जो पॉलिसी इम्प्लीमेंटेशन पार्टनर है, दिव्यांशु जी ने विजिट किया एनआरडीसी, और एनआरडीसी इज अ डीपीएसयू विच वाज एस्टैब्लिश्ड इन 1958 एंड दे आर फाइलिंग फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट फॉर स्टार्टअप्स एनी आईपी। अगर आपको डिजाइन करना है, प्रोटोटाइप है,
ओके फाइन।
आपका ट्रेडमार्क है, कॉपीराइट है, तो उनके कंप्लीट एप्लीकेशन आपको अटर्नी फी भी नहीं देना है, कुछ नहीं करना है, आपको सिर्फ एक मेल करना है उनको,
हाँ।
और वो आपका एप्लीकेशन प्रोसेस करते हैं फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट।
अच्छा
एक बार आप
अच्छा,
दिव्यांशु
थैंक
जी
यू।
से
तो
कनेक्ट
अगर
करिएगा।
मैं शायद मिस कर गई होगी वो मेल आईडी।
नहीं,
हाँ, ओके
आप एक
फाइन।
बार इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर के ग्रुप पे देखिए, वहाँ पे अपडेटेड है। आप पुराने मैसेज जाके देख लीजिएगा, वहाँ पे आपको
ओके।
मिल जाएगा।
हाँ हाँ हाँ, पुराने मैसेज है मेरे पास। यस
और
यस, थैंक यू,
ठीक।
थैंक यू सो मच।
yeah, so talking about the SIDBFOF as well, तो योनेस के लिए आप कह रहे थे ना कि अप्लाई करने के लिए लिंक कहाँ से मिलेगा, तो इट इज ऑलरेडी देयर ऑन द वेबसाइट। आप स्टार्टअप्स में जाएंगे, फंडिंग में जाएंगे, फर्दर SIDBFOF इज मेंशन्ड देयर, तो जस्ट क्लिक ऑन इट एंड आपको एप्लीकेशन फॉर्म सबमिट के लिए ओपन हो जाएगा। ठीक है, तो डायरेक्टली यहीं से ही अप्लाई करना है, इट इज मेंशन्ड देयर। And regarding the Startup India Seed Fund scheme, some of the startups may, although it has been 2 years since the Startup India Seed Fund scheme is launched, but is the central scheme and startups may get benefit about out of it. So उसको भी बेसिक वे में यहाँ पर रिप्रेजेंट किया गया है ताकि स्टार्टअप इस चीज का फायदा उठा सके फॉर द इंक्यूबेटर्स एज वेल, ताकि इंक्यूबेटर भी रिकॉग्नाइज हो सके स्टार्टअप इंडिया सीड फंड स्कीम के अंदर, right, to disburse the money to the incubated startups and other startups who may apply to those incubators as well. Eligibility criteria is also been mentioned for the incubators and startups as well, and 8 of the startups as of now, 8 of the incubators as of now are registered under the Startup India Seed Fund scheme, the incubators which are from the Uttar Pradesh only. So the list of those incubators are also being mentioned here. And to apply under the Startup India Seed Fund scheme, you can just click on it and you may be redirected to the portal as well. So this is also there.
Hello, Manish.
Yeah, hi.
So actually, I just have a query about the registered entity. Actually, we have a plan to change our registered entity only, and product name will be same. So I just want to know that after the confirmation from NCA of new name, so what should I do? I mean, I have to re-register or a company or a startup, or I need to mail you guys to update the same, the registered entity only.
For the registered entity, right?
Yes, I just want to, I just want to just replace the registered entity and the CIN and PAN, everything will be same. Only I'm just planning to change my registered entity name from ABC to XYZ.
Monish,
No,
if I can answer.
that, yeah.
गौरव जी, एक्चुअली एमसीए का जो होता है, अगर आप प्राइवेट लिमिटेड में हैं और उसका अलग एंटिटी आप करते हैं तो कर सकते हैं, लेकिन अगर आप नेम चेंज करते हैं दैट इज नॉट पॉसिबल, आपको फिर कंप्लीटली रजिस्टर करना पड़ेगा उसके लिए।
नहीं, वो हमने कर दिया है, मेरा नाम अप्रूव हो गया है, बस वो एनजीटी 14 एंड आईएनसी 24 वो प्रोसेस में है, वो भी 10 to 15 डेज में आ जाएगा। बाकी सीआई एंड पैन एवरीथिंग विल बी सेम, ओनली द रजिस्टर्ड एंटिटी नेम विल बी चेंज। वो हमें अप्रूवल मिल गया है नाम का,
रन के थ्रू मिल गया आपको अप्रूवल?
Yes, suppose that right now we have ABC Private Limited and I'm just planning to make it XYZ Private Limited only, and everything will be same. So I just want to know that I have certificate with the ABC from StartInUP and Startup India. So I need to re-register everything from scratch, or I just need to mail to get the updated certificate or updated name everywhere.
गौरव जी, आपको डीपीआईटी के लिए मैं बताऊं तो डीपीआईटी को आपको मेल करना पड़ेगा startup-dipp@gov.in पे। वहां पे उनको रिक्वेस्ट करना पड़ेगा कि आई हैव चेंज द नेम ऑफ माय स्टार्टअप विद द रेलेवेंट सपोर्टिंग डॉक्यूमेंट। एक बार वो चेंज कर देंगे तो फिर आपका फ्रेश डीपीआईटी सर्टिफिकेट इशू हो जाएगा। उस फ्रेश डीपीआईटी सर्टिफिकेट को आप StartInUP को मेल करिएगा कि वी हैव रिवाइज्ड आवर नेम एंड द रिवाइज्ड डीपीआईटी सर्टिफिकेट इज अटैच्ड। उसके बाद हम StartInUP में भी वो प्रोसेस कर देंगे।
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you. I just want to confirm that I don't need to re-register. I just need to connect with the team to revise their name, right?
Yes, startup can change their name by providing support.
Okay, got it.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Hi Monish, hi everyone. One small query. So now let's say we are registered, हमारा application आज ही approve हुआ, we have got a StartInUP certificate. What should be the next step so that like I think वो funds के लिए एक interview process और ये सब होता होगा, right? तो वो चीज कैसे स्टार्ट करनी है सर, आप प्लीज एक बार शॉर्ट में बता सकते हैं?
अखिल, अभी आपको हमने गो थ्रू किया, आप एक बार डीपीआई StartInUP पे रजिस्टर कर लिए। अब नेक्स्ट स्टेप आपका होगा कि इंक्यूबेटर सेलेक्ट करिए, क्योंकि StartInUP में जो भी ग्रांट है,
इंक्यूबेटर भी एक ऑलरेडी स्टार्ट हो गया, हम जनानी करके है, जनानी
इंक्यूबेटर कहाँ पे लोकेटेड है?
ये पूछना पड़ेगा, मतलब मैं एग्जैक्टली नहीं,
एक्चुअली मैं StartInUP का बताऊं तो StartInUP में अगर आपको कोई भी बेनिफिट लेना है तो आपका कंपनी इनकॉर्पोरेशन होना चाहिए उत्तर प्रदेश में, और आप इंक्यूबेटेड होना चाहिए यूपी सपोर्टेड इंक्यूबेटर, जो कि 60 इंक्यूबेटर्स की लिस्ट है। और हमारी टीम में अंशुल जी हैं, मैं उनको रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि वो आपको फर्दर गाइड करें।
हेलो, या दिस इज अंशुल। सो बेसिकली आपका जनामी, हेलो,
हाँ जी बताइए सर।
हाँ, आपका भी जो जनामी फाउंडेशन है ये अभी रजिस्टर्ड इंक्यूबेटर नहीं है हमारी साइड से।
हाँ, वो
ठीक
कहते
है,
हैं कि
तो
वो
अगर आपको सेलेक्ट करना है इंसेंटिवाइजेशन के लिए तो आपको किसी रजिस्टर्ड इंक्यूबेटर के साथ में इंक्यूबेट होना पड़ेगा, और उसके बाद में वो आपका रिकमेंडेशन लेटर भेजेंगे। अभी वो अंडर प्रोसेस में है जनामी, तो अभी आप उनके थ्रू से रिकमेंडेशन नहीं भिजवा सकते हैं। सो प्लीज गो टू आवर वेबसाइट, select any registered incubator and then go for the incentive application.
How to select, मतलब what should be the criteria, कैसे select करें, और उसके charges होते हैं क्या select करने के?
No, there is no charges. This is free of cost. You need to talk to the incubator, as and the numbers are also mentioned in our website. Please connect on call first and then go for the incubation.
Anshul, just tell me one thing, जो जिस incubator के साथ आप register हो चुके हैं already, उसकी application process अभी किस stage पे है?
सर अभी उनका डॉक्यूमेंटेशन अभी रिव्यू पे है सर।
इस वाले PIU में नहीं है उनका?
नहीं सर, इस वाले में नहीं है सर अभी।
अगेन तो आंसर जो भी क्वेरी आप कर रहे थे वो बेसिस आप ये कर सकते हैं कि फोकस एरियाज इंक्यूबेटर्स के अलग अलग हो सकते हैं, कि किसी की एक्सपर्टीज हो सकती है, तो आपका जिस भी सेक्टर का है आप उसके अकॉर्डिंगली इंक्यूबेटर सेलेक्ट कर सकते हैं।
जी सर।
एंड आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट मनीष एंड अंशुल कि एक बार चैट बॉक्स पे जितनी भी क्वेरीज है वन बाय वन उनको एड्रेस कर दीजिए। इस बीच में और लोग भी वहीं पे अपनी क्वेरी रेज कर दें, सो वी कैन प्रोसीड इन ऑर्डर।
Sure, sir. I will take those queries. And for the startups, अगर आपको इंक्यूबेटर का फोकस सेक्टर पता करना है कि किस सेक्टर में वो फोकस जाओ, कि स्टार्टअप्स के लिए उनके पास स्पेसिफिक फैसिलिटीज हैं उनके इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर्स में या द इंस्टीट्यूशन इन विच दे आर बीइंग सेटअप, राइट। तो आप सेक्टर्स में जाकर डायरेक्टली फिल्टर आउट कर सकते हैं, ठीक है, और किस स्टेज के लिए वो प्रेफरेबल हैं स्टार्टअप्स के लिए, राइट। अगर मल्टीपल इंडस्ट्री एंड मल्टीपल सेक्टर्स है तो कोई इशू वाली बात ही नहीं है। But some incubators are there. For example, the MT इन्होंने टेक्नोलॉजी एंड IT टेक्नोलॉजी पर मेनली फोकस किया गया है, राइट। Some of the startups are there जिनको some of the incubators are there जिनको एग्रीकल्चर इंडस्ट्री और एग्रीटेक में से एक्सपर्टीज है, तो आप वहाँ के इंक्यूबेटर स्पेसिफिकली चूज कर सकते हैं एंड बेस्ड अपॉन दिस सिलेक्शन क्राइटेरिया फ्रॉम योर साइड यू कैन अप्लाई अमंग दोज incubators for the recommendation of your incentives, right. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Manish, yes.
Yeah, okay. I hope I had cleared your doubt regarding choosing the incubators.
तो मतलब सब वापस से select करना पड़ेगा incubator basically, if I want to apply.
Yeah, you can anytime you can change the incubator. That's totally upon you. Yeah.
Okay, sir, I will do that.
There is no any compulsion or anything. It's totally for your benefit only. So if you feel comfortable in changing the incubator, you may do that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I would like to come in here for a couple of minutes. Couple of things I wanted to flag to the incubators or the charges of incubators. The last VC में भी मैंने आप लोगों से request की थी कि since now we have started sanctioning the capex amounts which had been promised to you while the recognition was done. But we are seeing that capex is being utilized only for laptops, desktops or normal networking. And we had expected कि आप इस तरह के उस equipments या फिर softwares खरीदेंगे जो कि लोगों को प्रोटोटाइपिंग या कोई सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट में काम आएगा। तो अगेन मैं उस चीज को फ्लैग कर रहा हूँ, आगे उस चीज का ध्यान रखेंगे। सेकेंड थिंग, वाइल सैंक्शनिंग ऑफ द इंक्यूबेटर्स आई सी आप लोग सभी ने बहुत सारे फोकस एरियाज दिए हैं, तो आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट यू टू रैशनलाइज द फोकस एरियाज या फिर जिसके पास जिस फील्ड में आपके पास एक्सपर्टीज है, जिसके लिए आपके पास प्रोटोटाइपिंग टूल्स हैं, जिसके लिए आपके पास मेंटर्स हैं, तो उनको रिड्यूस कर दें सो दैट एक रैशनल इंफॉर्मेशन मिल सके स्टार्टअप्स को कि किस एरिया में करना है। And the third thing is to my StartInUP team, आप ये देख लीजिएगा कि मोनिश और अंशु अभी इंक्यूबेटर्स के पास जो इस तरह की हाई एंड सर्विसेज हैं जो अपने इंक्यूबेटर्स को ये लोग ऑफर कर रहे हैं, उसकी लिस्टिंग आप इस वेबसाइट पे भी इंक्यूबेटर के साथ करा दीजिए कि कहाँ पे बड़ा 3D प्रिंटर लगा हुआ है, कहाँ पे आपका कैट के लिए सॉफ्टवेयर है, कहाँ पे कोई और CNC मशीन लगी हुई है जो फैब्रिकेशन के लिए हो सकती है, सो दैट स्टार्टअप्स को एक बेटर इंफॉर्मेशन होगी किस इंक्यूबेटर के पास।
Sure, sir. We are planning to do that. In the portfolio, the number of startups will be there, and with the facilities tab, we will mention all the facilities depend upon the domain expertise of those institutions. We'll mention that here, sir.
Right. Apart from a standard format, why can't we have a, I mean, open format for incubators? कि यहीं से उनके पास कि अपना ही मतलब जो भी इंफॉर्मेशन वो चाहते हैं अपने पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से कि वो यहाँ पर और इंक्यूबेटर्स या स्टार्टअप्स को देखें, तो उसके लिए भी एक सेक्शन, एक छोटा सा सेक्शन उनके लिए क्रिएट किया जा सकता है कि व्हाटएवर दे आर डूइंग या देयर सजेशंस आर, तो वहीं पे अपलोड कर दें।
जी सर, अभी के लिए जितना हमारे पास डेटा अवेलेबल था तो हमने बेसिस अपॉन दैट डाटा एक स्टैंडर्ड पेज डिजाइन किया था। नाउ विल मेक इट डायनामिक ताकि इंक्यूबेटर जहां से लॉगिन करता है वो इस पेज पर चेंजेस कर सकता है।
Sure. चलिए नेक्स्ट कंटिन्यू करिए, और कोई और क्वेरीज थी अगर उसको चैट बॉक्स में फिर और लोगों से पूछिए।
Yeah, so someone has asked regarding whether the startup can apply for more than one grant simultaneously. So no, you may not apply to the multiple grants at a same time, because each of those grants are specifically designed for the specific stage of the startup, whether it is at MVP stage, whether it is at ideation stage or prototype stage, whether the MVP is ready now, they are okay to launch their product in the market. For that, seed allowance is given to them. So based upon your stage and based upon your stage and your requirement, you can apply to the specific grant. One of the incubator has asked for 10,000 fees to be incubated. Hence, do not pay to the fees? No, you don't have to pay any kind of fees to the incubator. You just name that incubator to us, and we will sort this out internally. Like, what is the issue? Okay.
Yeah, I will send you the name personally.
Just one clarification in this regard. Usually we get this query about any charges being imposed by incubator. Well, उसमें जो clear instruction ये है कि for whatever services incubator is providing you, which are related to the UP startup policy, for those activities they cannot charge and they are not charging. Apart from that, for any other incubation services, they might have some their charging structure. वो आप लोग का mutual understanding पे है. But if it is very exorbitant or if it is exploitative, you can bring it to our notice. But the instructions as of now is that for whatever services and funds and incentives which are being granted through UP startup policy, for those incubators cannot charge anything to the incubators.
Thank you.
Saurav has asked the question regarding the disbursement of the tranche for the valuation which was being done in November. So yeah, it is in process and being disbursed to you shortly.
I think that's the same one which has been covered by the recently released government order. उसमें जो 89 लाख वाला order था, I believe उसमें होगा. तो एक बार clarify कर दीजिएगा इनको.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is regarding that order only.
The government order, which was released, I think, on 31st May, and the corresponding startups list of startups was also shared on the incubation group. So within next few days, 3-4 days, क्योंकि उसमें कानपुर डायरेक्टेड इंडस्ट्री से फंड मूव होगा, तो वो आपको आपके अकाउंट में आ जाएगा.
If there are any more questions, so we may conclude this meeting.
Munish sir, I have one question, if you allow me.
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
munish sir, मेरे को सिर्फ एक सवाल था from the perspective of ये जो हमने grants के लिए apply करा है और ये grants की जो utilization है, तो मेरा सबसे पहला सवाल था कि जो sustenance allowance है, इसका कुछ ज़्यादा डिटेल वेबसाइट पे मेंशन नहीं है. और मेरा सिर्फ सवाल ये कि जो अर्ली स्टेज कंपनीज हैं जिनके प्रोडक्ट्स मार्केट में आ चुके हैं बट जिनका रेवेन्यू इफेक्ट हुआ है पिछले 6-8 महीने में, क्या वो सस्टेनेंस अलाउंस के लिए अप्लाई कर सकते हैं या वो अप्लाई नहीं कर सकते?
See, that totally depends. अगर आप यहाँ से पहले ही कोई ग्रांट ले चुके हो या नहीं, whether you have taken sustenance
नहीं सर, कोई ग्रांट नहीं लिया
earlier, कोई नहीं लिया, then it doesn't matter. Right, but talking about the information you are checking, yeah, if you are talking about the information, you are not getting the sufficient amount of the information on the portal. You just have to click these all the parameters are there to show you the gist and what everything is all about. If you want to deep dive in between, so you may just go to the state startup policy and just click on the state policy. And you can read everything about the grants and the benefits you may take out of it. It is available in both English and Hindi language. Just click it and download it, and you may go through it, and you may get all the sufficient information you may require to apply in the sustenance grant before in hand.
Okay. ठीक है. And sir, the last question is कि for the seed and marketing grant, इसकी जो यूटिलाइजेशन है ग्रांट की, वो क्या क्या एलिजिबल क्राइटेरिया है जहां पर हम ये ग्रांट यूटिलाइज कर सकते हैं? वन इज ऑब्वियस आंसर दैट इट इज गोइंग टू बी यूटिलाइज्ड फॉर आवर मार्केटिंग एंड फॉर सेल्स पर्पसेस, बट व्हाट आर द अदर क्राइटेरियाज व्हिच आर गोइंग टू बी गिवन ग्रीन सिग्नल फ्रॉम द StartInUP and from the government of Uttar Pradesh?
So when you will apply for the grant, now you will get the checklist. Like under these parameters, your expenditure should be there and in justifiable amount, and in evaluation as well, it is being discussed. Like आप कहाँ इस चीज को खर्च करेंगे अपने पैसे को, तो उस पर भी आपको गाइड किया जाएगा. And if you
ठीक है,
want
sir.
more information regarding that, we can
Monish,
separately
can
connect.
I interfere?
Yeah, sure.
So
sure.
as the name suggests, marketing assistance, so this has to be completely utilized for marketing the product. So any expense which is related to marketing can be considered in this.
So, ma'am, this is going to be purely then a sales and marketing grant only then, right?
Right.
Perfect. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, Muni, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Akhil, you may directly submit your grievance or something if you want to know more about that. And our official email ID is also mentioned on the website. You may directly write on it and we will get back to you.
Can you share perhaps email, please? Where?
Yeah, it's mentioned on the
Akhil,
website only.
sorry to interrupt. Akhil, I will definitely, we have a topic to talk regarding your revoke. So we'll get back to you. I'll give you a call. And I'll give you the email ID also.
Email ID is also on the website as well.
Everything is on the website. And we need to talk about your revoke case. So I'll connect with you.
If there are not any other queries, we may conclude for the day, and we may be connecting with all of you next week as well. So if you have any further queries, we'll be happy to answer them all, right? Yeah. Thank you so much.
I think if there are no further queries, we can proceed towards closing this meeting. Well, the request to all these startups and incubators, my last and closing request would be, since going forward, we would like to have this portal as the only interface between us and you, and we would like to everything getting resolved there only. So after this session, please go through the portal once again and do let us know your feedback and suggestions, what additionally needs to be done and what changes needs to be done in already existing features, so that we can take it forward. So with this, I thank all of you. I thank my team for organizing this session. And once again, I thank Monica ma'am for briefing our startups and incubators. And again, thanks a lot. Best wishes.
Thanks, everyone.